And that's coming up very shortly now. Collins against Benn. Right now it's back to the 9X Arena to rejoin Ian Darke, who's got Robin Reid with him, part of our team tonight, the WBC super middleweight title holder, of course. Ian?
Yes, here he is, Robin Reid. Pleasure to cover him winning the world title away in Italy a few weeks ago. We've just heard Nigel Benn, Robin, saying that he's going to shut Collins' mouth big time. Is he?
I mean, I don't know. That's, you know, I think he's really up for the fight, you know, all the pre-fight talk and the pre-fight hype. You know, if he's got it in his mind and he's got it set that is what he's going to do, you know, you never know, that's what he might do, you know.
Do you think he can do that? Is the fire still burning? I think that's the big question, isn't it? I mean, he can say a lot of things, but when it comes down to it, after 7 hard, grueling rounds, will he still be able to do it? That's a kind of central theme in this fight, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think only Nigel Benn can answer that, really. I mean, we've seen him in fights before where he's been backing off to the, you know, he's been backed onto the ropes. It looked like, you know, it's all against him. He's come back with a big punch and he's turned the fight around. And, you know, the fight against Cheryl McClellan, that's the biggest fight, you know, we can see where he's done that. After the first, you know, no one gave him a chance before the fight. After the first round, you know, the fight was looking pretty desperate, and then, you know, come the 10th round, Nigel turned it completely around and won the fight.
Quick question for you. You've been there, you know what it's like. What are those two fighters feeling now backstage? A lot of butterflies?
Yeah, I mean, you got the pre-fight butterflies, but I mean, the feeling I had was just I couldn't wait to get in there. You know, you got to go through all the formalities of waiting for your cue to come in, and, you know, the ring announcing and all the rest of it. You just want to get going. You know what I mean? Ding ding, round one, and off we go. That's, you know, that's what you're waiting for.
Okay, nice talking to you, Robin. See you again soon.
Nicky Piper, Duke McKenzie and Barry McGuigan back here in the studio. And just a reminder that before midnight we'll be joined by Lennox Lewis as well. What sort of fight are we looking forward to next, Barry?
Well, I think it's they may start off with the tactics in mind, and Ben may decide to box this time, may decide to move around the centre of the ring and try to pick his punches more carefully. But inevitably it will develop into a brawl and a real shenanigans in the centre of the ring and all over the ring for that matter. And I think that, in my opinion, Ben has had just one hard fight too many, and the well is running dry on him. I think tonight could be the night that it dries up.
Fascinating prospect, Duke, for all that, isn't it?
Well, I hope that the well hasn't dried up for Nigel Benn. I would love to see him pull it off, but as I said before, I think the time is right for Steve Collins to prevail and be victorious again tonight. He's a good champion. He's very, very strong, as we all know, and I mean, you just can't write Ben off because you just can't.
No, I was just about to say, Nicky, that's 2 for Collins. Yeah. Is there anybody in Ben's corner here?
No, 3 for Collins, but like Duke, I'd like to see Nigel do it. I think he's been great for British boxing, and this would be fantastic for British boxing, wouldn't it? I mean, this would be fantastic.
How will Collins approach it, Barry?
I'm sure Collins will approach it with the same thing in mind. Just grind him down and stop him and force him to fight, intimidate him. He's done that already. And, you know, when we look at the first fight, he was mauling Ben from the very beginning, chopping, clubbing at him, just swinging punches from all angles. And, you know, when Ben did take lunges at him, he was fending his punches off. But again, just trying to back Ben up and trying to hit him with as many punches as he could, sweeping uppercuts and, you know, blocking his shots from what he was doing. When Ben would come at him, he would just stay on top of him. He's got a great chin, Collins.
Well,
and I mean, he hit him square on the button there. He really did hit him full blast. And that's why he said, you know, if he can't hurt me in the first time, he's not going to hurt me. Look at that first shot, for example. Right on the money, didn't make him blink. So, I mean, what he couldn't do in that fight, I don't think he's going to be able to do in this fight either. Could be wrong. If he catches him with his head hanging out and hits him properly, it could be the end for Collins. Believe me, Ben, I've written him off in the past. He thrives on being the underdog. He loves being kept down. I remember the last time against McClellan, I thought, I don't think he can do it. It's a war of attrition. He's going to get nailed. He's going to get knocked out. And he took it on and absorbed it and soaked it all up and came back.
Just can't forget the epics he's had with, like, Doug DeWitt, Iran Barkley in America. The guy's been there, seen it, and done it. And this for Nigel Benn just could be the
psychological warfare started last night, didn't it, at the weigh-in? I mean, this was quite extraordinary what was going on here.
Yeah, it was interesting. Collins got on the scales and he was wearing Calvin Klein underpants, pretty big underpants, and he got on and he was actually 4 ounces over the weight, apparently, according to Peter the Fittest, but the supervisor from the WBO was quite happy with his weight, so therefore he said, "You're okay."
But they got everything out of it they could, didn't they? The Ben camp, they had him up there
Ben
3
did
times.
rattle him, and,
well, I think the Ben camp had a case, actually. If they were flicking between 12 and 12.4, rules say you've got to make 12 stone.
You've got to make the weight.
Whether it means taking your pants off or not. Embarrassment goes out the window here. You've got to make that 12 stone. And I don't think it was tactics. I think he genuinely didn't make it. I think he was flicking on 12.4, 12 stone and 4 ounces.
So he comes in tonight with an advantage.
No. If he'd have taken his pants off, he would have made 12 stone. I think that's what that's why the supervisor said, go ahead, you can have it.
Collins, 5-2 Ben, 33-1 the draw. Anybody going to disagree with the bookies?
I don't know much about odds. All I know is that Ben has got a chance, a puncher's chance, but you've got to favour Collins in this one. You just got to.
Full house tonight at Manchester's 9X Arena. We've seen some cracking action so far. The Prince in and out very quickly, a very efficient job. Next up, it's Steve Collins against Nigel Benn for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship of the World. That's next, after the break. We've waited a long time for it. The talking is almost over. It's Collins against Benn, part 2. That's next up from Manchester's 9X Arena. That's where we're going now to rejoin Glenn McCrory and Ian Darke.
The atmosphere is building here now all the time, and the two fighters are just about ready to make their entrances backstage. So without further ado, let's join our MC for the night, Mike Goodall.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for our third and final joint top of the bill. Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Middleweight Championship. Would you welcome first to the ring, please, the Dark Destroyer, Nigel Benn.
Well, Nigel Benn has proved himself one of the most dramatic performers ever seen on the British boxing stage. But are the great days gone forever? That's the big question, really, tonight. The bookies think so. They've got him as a 5-2 outsider. But Nigel Benn says Steve Collins has relit the fuse. I'm up for this big time, he says. Just watch me. We've heard the chimes. Can he turn back the clock then?
Well, it's going to be, I think it's going to be very difficult. You can never underestimate him. He is a fighter. He will be out there. And he's a puncher as well. He's got a tremendous heart, so he'll be trying so hard. But in Collins, you've got a guy who's really at the top of his game, so self-confident, has enormous belief. So I think this is going to be a very tough night for Ben. It's how much desire he has left. In the last couple of fights, it looks as if the desire has gone, but he says it's back. He says he wants his big time. He's got it all there to prove.
Well, he was halted by a twisted ankle in the last fight, and there were unkind suggestions after that even this great warrior had found that an injury of convenience. They even said that he'd quit, which is a tough thing, I think, to say about a fighter who's been in the kind of fights that Nigel Benn has been in down the years. Look at the reception for Ben. His popularity is unquestioned.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the current super middleweight champion of the world, the Celtic Warrior, Steve Collins.
Steve Collins, the Celtic Warrior, is on a high that he's waited for all his life, and he just doesn't want it to end. This is a really tough man from a boxing family. His uncle even beat Reggie Gray in the ring. A man who honed his professional skills alongside the great Marvin Hagler in America. And like Hagler, he's prepared himself in seclusion, away from his family, to prepare for this battle. Never stopped, tough as iron. Last time he said, Ben's punches just bounced off me. I don't feel pain.
He's a tough guy. Great chin. He took some very good punches off Ben, and he never flinched. And he's really single-mindedly, he's really at his peak. He really believes in himself and so strong, so committed.
Oh, look at all this, even before the start. They look as if they want to fight right now, don't they? This is personal, believe me.
Yes, they're both very, very up for this fight. And they had to be pushed apart at one stage there.
And what's behind all that is that Steve Collins said at the launch of this fight that he would retire Ben permanently, maybe even as quickly as 2 rounds. Ben didn't like that at all. There's the tail of the tape. They're both 32 now. Collins, the taller man, he's right on the 12-stone limit. There was a bit of byplay yesterday, the Ben camp suggesting he didn't really make it. I don't think it'll amount to much when it comes to it. The reach about the same. Slight advantage to Ben. And there's some more statistics for you. Between them, they've had 501 rounds and 23 World Championship fights. A really big fight atmosphere here in Manchester for this one. And we're just about all set to go. Ben, to me, looks back in Dark Destroyer mode.
He certainly has the mood, but if you see Collins, he's very, very up for this as well. He's a tough guy. This looks set to be a wonderful battle. It fizzled out last time, but I think we're set for something very big.
Ladies and gentlemen, for our third and final joint top of the bill, we move into the super middleweight division. This contest is conducted and sanctioned under the rules of the WBO, and the officials appointed for this contest are the supervisor from the United States, Mr. Nick Karasiotis. The British Boxing Board of Control supervisor is Mr. John Morris, and the steward in charge, Mr. Tom Pendry, MC, Shadow Minister for Sport. Judges for this contest, Mr. Dennis Nielsen of the USA, Mr. Gordon Boltman from the USA, and Mr. Roy Francis from London. And the referee in charge of the action for this contest, from Derby, England, Mr. Paul Thomas. The timekeeper at the bell, Mr. Frank Gabriel from Sheffield. My lords, ladies and gentlemen, boxing fans across Europe, Asia and around the world, it's big fight time. Promoted by Frank Warren for Sports Network in association with our sponsors Adidas, The Sun and ART, who proudly present a contest of 12 3-minute rounds to decide the WBO Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Between introducing the boxers, and firstly from the red corner, wearing the all-black trunks and coming from Ilford in Essex, England, he weighed in at 11 stone, 13 pounds, that's 167 pounds. In his professional career, he has had 47 contests, 42 wins, 35 by way of the big KO with 4 losses and 1 draw. And tonight appears in his 16th world title contest. He comes to the ring, the former WBO middleweight champion of the world and former WBC super middleweight champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Dark Destroyer, Nigel Benn. And across the ring, ladies and gentlemen, in the blue corner, coming from Dublin in Ireland, wearing his familiar tartan trunks and weighing in at an even 12 stone, 168 pounds. His professional record of 36 contests, he has 33 wins, 18 by way of KO with 3 losses. Tonight he appears in his 7th World Championship and defends his title for the 5th time. He's the former WBO middleweight champion and the current WBO super middleweight champion of the world, the Celtic warrior, Steve Collins. The referee, Mr. Paul Thomas, will now give his instructions to both boxers.
Okay, for I see you both in the dressing rooms, you know what I expect of you. I'm here to enforce the rules, so give me a good, clean fight. Okay, best of luck to both of you.
And the verbals carry on as Paul Thomas, the Derby shopkeeper, gives his instructions for the biggest fight of his 20-year refereeing career. Freddie Roach with a last word for Steve Collins. I doubt if he's really hearing it. Here we go. Collins, Benn, 2. Collins has beaten Eubank twice. Will he beat Benn twice as well? Or does Benn rediscover the old fire tonight? A lot of untidy inside work.
And it's really started as a brawl.
Might go on as a brawl as well, mightn't it? This might not be pretty. It might be pretty savage.
Yes, I think this is going to be about who's the toughest in there tonight.
Good left hook from Collins, got through there. Benn just wanting to hold on for a moment. Benn renowned as the big puncher, but of course Collins has never ever been knocked out or stopped. All his 3 defeats in big championship fights and on points, and 2 of them on split decisions. th world title fight for Benn, the 9th for Collins.
It's still very, very untidy.
Collins denying Benn the room. There's a good right hand there. Collins wanted to trade. Rough, grueling inside work in the opening round. A lot of the punches are missing. Good right uppercut there, though, from Benn, who leant away, got the punch through inside, but Collins really does have the original granite jaw.
Both men are really trying very, very hard. They're missing with most of the punches.
Nothing very scientific in this opening round, but I wonder if this is going to develop into a grueling long-distance thriller. Left hand goes in from Collins on the right from Benn.
Collins got through with a couple of decent ones inside.
It's fairly similar to what we saw the first time, isn't it?
They're both missing quite wildly. Very rough and rugged.
A frenetic opening round. Judgment Night boxing continues, and don't forget, after all this, we're going to be off to Las Vegas for Judgment Night Part 2, the Sky Box Office promotion, with Tyson Holyfield topping the bill. Do stay up.
There was very much in that. I thought Collins maybe just did more than Benn in the first round, landed with a few more clean shots, but it was very untidy work.
Second round. Steve Collins, as always, in the tartan trunks. Benn in his habitual solid black. Benn's plan, I know, is to hit Collins with hard punches relentlessly for 12 rounds and try to break down even this most resilient of men. He said, I never really had the chance to get the job done last time. Collins with two good left hands getting through. Not renowned as a big puncher, Steve Collins, but he does wear you down with his relentless, marauding style. It's coming dangerously close together there.
Collins getting through with the right and the left there. He's so very strong.
Left hand again. Benn gets in with the right.
But I think just fractionally Collins beating Benn to the punch.
Collins has had so many hungry years as an electrician and in a barman, shut out of the big money, that he doesn't want to get the limelight go. But Benn says he's absolutely determined to get back up there. Furious stuff. Another of those left hooks from Collins. He's having some success with them, Glenn.
Yes, he's just having the better of the work inside. He's just getting, his punches are a little bit cleaner, he's just getting them off first.
Another left hook there, this time from Benn, but Collins just took the punch and carried on working. That happened in the first fight in the third round, and that might be a bit dispiriting for Benn when he unleashes his biggest punches and they don't have an effect.
Yes, that's where it's going to get hard for Benn. Collins is so immensely strong. He takes the punches so well, and he comes firing back.
Really set himself for the left hook to the body there, Benn, too. This is going to be a war of attrition, you feel?
It's a real test of strength and perseverance.
Paul Thomas might be a busy man as well, the referee. Watch the use of the head, warning to Collins. Again, he rather charged in, and the head coming very dangerously close together at the end of round two. Welcome back to the 9X, packed for the big fight. Nigel Benn with Kevin Sanders and Peter de Freitas in the corner with Denny Mancini. Action from round 2 here.
Again, it's still messy, but Ben got through that good left hook there. Collins always came back with something. I had that a very even round. There's still not much in these rounds. Still, they haven't gotten through with good combinations or good punches yet. Still very rough, very aggressive, and just a test of strength.
Watch the use of the heads, says referee Paul Thomas. Don't walk away when I'm talking to you. They just want to get on with it. Third round. Ben bidding for his 3rd World Championship. There is the danger of a cut, isn't there, with the way the heads are flying in here.
Yes, and I think that would be a very bad finish to a fight if one of them was cut with a clash of heads.
Good jab there from Ben. You do get the impression that this crowd is very much pro-Ben. There's a sentimentality. That's a great right hand though from Collins.
But both fighters, they're throwing the punches, they're both very much off balance. They're not getting the proper leverage because they're both reaching in so much.
Well, we've had a lot of this kind of close quarter combat in the phone box, so to speak. There's a good right there though from Ben, who looks sharp and hungry again here. Good work from him again and making Collins miss. The snappier stuff from Ben just in this phase.
Yes, he was landing with a short, sharp punches there.
Another good combination from Ben. He's been written off before in his career and come back to confound the critics. Will he do it again here?
Collins trying to fight back there off the rope, but he's not getting the room he needs to get through with his punches.
Well, this is grueling, strength-sapping stuff, but this is what they've locked themselves away for. Collins going down on one. It looked more like a slip to me than anything else there.
Yes, it looked a little like he was off balance, but Ben again lands with that good left hook.
Big one, wasn't it? Collins took that again, but can he carry on taking those? Really warming up in round 3. Ben's had the better of this round, for my money.
Yes, for me too. He's just getting through the cleaner punches. Collins' work a bit ragged. He's missing quite wildly, and he's off balance too much.
Ben had gone off the boil since his savage and tragic fight with Gerald McClellan. But so many people have been saying he's a shot fighter, that it's all over for him, that maybe that has motivated him to produce one of his special performances. Let's see as it develops. This is a Ben round at the moment.
Yes, he's just got through with the better, cleaner work.
And guess who we've got watching here? An old friend of both of them.
Very, very interesting to see him here.
Glenn's got it level so far. I have Ben ahead after 3 rounds. But it's early. All Collins, big left hand. Ben's knees just seem to bend a little bit there.
The left hook is very solid, and the right hand was a good one from Collins.
This Irishman is so gritty, and there's another good shot. Stepping off and hitting with another right hand. Collins with a restatement of his credentials in the 4th.
Collins is just giving himself a little bit more room. He's landing his shots. He needs the room to land.
Well, it's as if Collins rather felt that Ben had got the better of things in the previous round and has really come out meaning business. Good stuff from him again there. Left jab, right hand, and an uppercut there.
He's just found the range a bit better, and again he lands with that right hand.
And again. Now, this is where Ben's deep down desire may be tested. Once again, the combination. This is easily the best stuff so far from Collins, settling down.
Just his work, he's not as ragged now. He's given himself a little bit more room. He's starting to rattle off the left, right, and he's starting to find his range well.
Very, very savage-looking body shot from Collins. Really sunk it in. And he's beginning to tee off a little bit, rather ominously for Benn in this round. He's got the range with the jab, the right hand's thudding in two.
For the first time, nothing really good coming back from Benn. He's just stuck on the spot there, getting caught with these right hands.
Fourth round, this is the round, of course, where the injury occurred in the last fight. Benn got home with a left hook. But once again, he finds everything just bouncing off Steve Collins. Goodness me, he must be a hard man to fight. Bit of puffiness under the right eye of Benn has developed. Maybe those right hands have done it.
And he's getting caught with uppercuts inside. This is a very good round for Steve Collins, and not a great deal of work coming from Benn.
Last 20 seconds of a good round for Steve Collins. But Benn, you feel, isn't done with yet.
But the zip's gone out of Benn's work as he struggles to find the range.
Welcome back. Now dramatic things are happening in that Benn corner. Kevin Sanders, the trainer, is saying one more round to Benn and I'm going to pull you out. I'm not going to see you beaten. They're saying it now.
Come on. I will not let you get a beating. One more round.
One more round. Well, what about this, Glenn McCrory?
Very interesting. I'm not sure whether you say one more round like that and I'm going to pull you out, because there was very little come from Benn. So there's distress signals in the corner. They're not happy with his work.
Collins catching him repeatedly in that last round. Has the fire gone out for Benn after a bright start? They both swap thunderous headshots. Benn's really going for it. But is it one last rally from him? Bearing in mind what we heard in the corner.
You'll never forget, when Benn is hurt, that's when he's always at his most dangerous.
Collins has taken control in a big way. Has Benn got anything left in the fight?
He just seems to be struggling a little bit to find his way. The punches aren't coming back from Benn. Collins getting through with a good left hook there.
Collins wants this so much. Wants to stay at the top. Wants the limelight. Wants the big fights. Benn has been there and done it. Does he have the hunger to go through all the pain and long, hard fights like this to try and get back there again?
Well, this is where he has to show it. This is where he's got to pull something out. If there's any fire left, this is when he needs it most.
Steve Collins is some fighter, underrated, gritty, marauding forward again. Well, the referee's sending him to neutral corners, and Collins is having a point deducted. But I think that's for the head work. 1 point off. Good refereeing by Paul Thomas there, the way he made it absolutely clear to everyone what was going on. But Collins' answer is two thunderous rights to the head. Is he lining up Benn here for the final assault?
These are good punches coming in from Collins, and Benn looks hurt there. He's looking over at the corner. He looks distressed.
I wonder whether we're watching the final few minutes, final few seconds even, in the career of one of Britain's most exciting fighters of all time. Will the corner pull him out at the end of the round? There is the threat of that, judging by what we heard last time, unless that was just a threat to try to get him going. Good right hand from Ben. Was that psychology from Sanders, the trainer, or did he mean it?
Well, Ben hadn't been really badly hurt in the last round, so I think he was just trying to tell him he's got to do something or I'm going to pull you out. But again, Collins keeps landing with good shots and Ben just floundering at times.
Rather tired walk back to the corner by Ben. Let's see what's going on there this time, if we can.
One more.
Well, I think I heard Ben say one more.
Well, he's distressed, definitely. He's been caught with some good hard punches in that round. You just wonder how much more he can take. But in the last round, it certainly was marvellous work from Collins. He's full of fire. He's landing with good punches. Look how many more Collins has landed than Ben. Almost double.
Here comes round 6. I think Collins won that last round, but of course he had a point deducted for a low blow. So it will probably go down as even on the scorecards. But make no mistake, at this point, Collins is in control. Agree, Glenn?
Yes, very much so, and a good right hand landed again. These are not happy moments for Ben. He's not finding his rhythm. He's landing good punches to Collins, but Collins is taking them so well and come back with better ones.
Heads again coming dangerously close. Oof. Well, he's letting go with attempted haymakers, Ben, in the hope of taking Collins out. Oh, that's a great right hand from Ben, and again, Collins hardly blinked as it went home. He's unbelievably tough.
He really is. He takes such a good shot. Ben landed with a really good one. Collins came back with 3 of his own that all landed.
If Ben loses this one, there surely is no place left for him to go. We've had retirement speeches for him before, but it really would be the end, I think.
Collins working away with the right uppercut there. 2 good little left hooks.
Ben is beginning to fight now in just little fits and starts. Looks like the early fireworks have kind of fizzled out of it, doesn't it?
Defensively, this one, Ben's very bad. The right hands that Collins throws are all landing. His head is starting to dip and he's been caught with his head down.
Make no mistake, Ben's landed with some very, very big punches in this fight, but he just can't shake Collins. The man is an absolute rock, or so it seems anyway.
Well, Ben really must be thinking what he has to do to make an impression on this man.
Body shot was a good one from Collins. Watch these heads, says the referee. Paul Thomas is having a good one in there. Right in control, and not an easy fight to ref either. Ben winks at the referee. He's looking more tired, Ben.
He's looking very tired. His head's starting to drop. You wonder if any confidence is going.
Rocked a little bit there by the left hook, just send him back a couple of paces. Still from the memory bank comes the left hand, but he threw so much into that one he lost his balance. And, well, let's get a word, if we can, here with the WBC super middleweight champion, Robin Reed, who's with us at ringside. Robin, how are you seeing the... Well, before that, hang on a minute, wait, before we do that, it may be the end of the contest. It is over. It is over. Ben has been pulled out at the end of the 6th round. And Steve Collins retains the WBO super middleweight championship. He has beaten Eubank twice. He has beaten Ben twice. And that must surely be the end for Nigel Benn. Now we can have a word with Robin Reid. Robin, your comments on the fight?
Yeah, I mean, as you saw from the first couple of rounds, they both went at it like two birds in a china shop. But as Steve took control in the last 3 rounds, he was catching Nigel at will with left-right hands combinations. Nigel started to look wary and warier, and you know, he was getting caught more and more. And I think, you know, maybe the writing justified in pulling him out. At the end of the day, you know, you've got to. The box is the main priority. And if your corners see you're taking too much punishment and you're getting hurt, then, you know, as big as your heart may be, maybe that's the right decision at the end of the day. Maybe Nigel, you know, he might be obviously going to be disappointed because he's been pulled out the fight. But I mean, when he goes back to his changing rooms or he watches the fight again, you know, I'm sure he'll thank his cornermen, you know, for doing what they've done, because he was shipping a lot of punishment there. He was getting caught at will with left-right combinations, and I think, you know, maybe, you know, Nigel, well, obviously Nigel's time is up.
There's his fiancée Caroline in the ring, and look at that. She has been asking him, no, beseeching him to stop boxing. And I think that embrace says so much. I think it says that that really is the end of the great warrior Nigel Benn.
Yes, and I think Steve Collins, he was so tough, he was so hard, it was a great victory. He did what he said he was going to do. He's probably sent Nigel Benn into retirement for a final time. He's just, there's no stopping him. He's so tough, he's so hard. How do you dent him? What a great chin he's got. What great fight. This is really his time, and good credit to Steve Collins.
Magnificent performance again by Steve Collins. He's so underrated, and really sad, I think, to see the final chapter of Nigel Benn. Let's now join our MC Mike Goodall again.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round 6, Nigel Benn has been retired by his corner, leaving the winner and still WBO super middleweight champion of the world, Steve Collins.
Collins is a very underrated fighter. He's still the champion. There's more big money out there, maybe even a fight with the man many people think is the best at this weight in the world, Roy Jones, but Collins would argue with that. He'd say he's the best.
Disappointing end, but my goodness me, that was a fight. Collins victorious. He remains unbeaten as champion. Remember, Judgment Night Part 2 coming up after midnight. We'll take another break. When we come back, more reaction from Manchester.
Ladies and gentlemen, I show you now.
Nicky Piper, Duke McKenzie and Barry McGuigan with us. Remember, Lennox Lewis will be joining us this side of midnight after that. Judgment Night Part 2 comes from Las Vegas, and we're going all the way through until about 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We've seen a fight there, though, Nicky, haven't we? Nigel Benn and Steve Collins. Disappointing end,
yeah,
as I said, but prior to that, it was thoroughly enjoyable.
Tremendous fight, really good fight. But nobody's got more respect for Nigel Benn, having fought the guy and lost, than myself. But I just feel a little calmed by that. You know, they were telling us he was better than ever and he was really going to do this and that. And I got the feeling that the whole team, especially
Nick, I'm sorry to have to interrupt you, but we've got to go back to the 9X Arena. We've heard some dramatic stuff from Ben in the past post-fight. Let's see what's in store now. Let's go back.
It's time to call it a day. I can't go on. It's, you know, there might be another Dart Destroyer, but that's fucking it for me. I tried to go out and please the public. That's one thing I like doing, is pleasing the British public. I can't take no more. It's time to call it a day. Thank you.
Well, for all the right reasons, let's hope that is it from Nigel Benn. He's been a wonderful ambassador for British boxing. What a warrior down the years. We've enjoyed some terrific nights with Nigel Benn. He said in the past he would go. Let's hope this time that he genuinely has. There didn't seem very much more left in the tank, did there? But what a representative of British boxing, Barry.
Without a doubt, one of the most dynamic fighters of all time. This is the end of an era for us. He's a great fighter. He's, you know, we always knew that it was going to be a very difficult night's work for him. I I could see from the very beginning it wasn't the old Nigel Benn that we were familiar with. His balance wasn't good, his coordination wasn't great, and I just didn't think he was going to be able to do it this time against a very tough fighter in Steve Collins. Full credit to him. Great performance, he just ground him down.
We'll talk more in a moment, Nicky. Let's go back to Manchester, though. Steve Collins is waiting to talk to us. He's with Ian Dark.
Yes, here he is, Steve Collins, still the champion. Steve, how do you get to be that tough?
I guess it's just born that way, but I have to say, you know, I feel the public, the paying customers have been cheated tonight. Me and Nigel stood toe to toe. It was man to man. We were going to fight till the bitter end. We were going to sort this out once and for all, who the true warrior was. Unfortunately, his corner saw it fit to pull Nigel out. They reckoned he was taking the beating, but we would have kept on going. They should let us fight. We'll fight till the end. They should have let us go to the end. Give the public their money's worth. They paid good money to come here tonight, and I feel they've been cheated.
Don't you feel, though, that you had broken Ben's spirit at that point anyway, that you had the fight won?
Let me tell you something. If I broke Ben's spirit, he was hitting very hard, very often, and he was coming forward. He surprised me tonight. He was giving me a hell of a fight tonight. He was different from the last Nigel Benn. He came to win. And it was toe to toe. I didn't feel in control. I felt I had a handful. And I felt the public should have been allowed to see the fight go to the end. The corner should not have stopped it. I still claim to be the best man out there, but tonight I got my chance to really confirm it. You know, I can't ask for a third match with Nigel because he has retired, and I think he means it this time. But I feel the public didn't get their money's worth tonight. The corner should let the fight go on, because Nigel was there all the way.
Well, this time he's retired, and I guess this time he might actually mean it. We've had retirement speeches from him before in the ring in the last two fights. Would you like to pay a tribute to him? Because I know you've got feelings about him.
I have. Before the fight, I can be a right pain. But that's the way I am before fight time. I have great respect for Nigel Benn. When people look back over the history of British boxing for years to come, they will always remember Nigel Benn as the most exciting fighter in the history of British boxing. Just when they thought Nigel was finished, he'll always come back. And believe me, I know from experience. I've been in there with him.
You don't think he will come back again, do you?
Well, if he does come back, I hope they allow him to fight till the end. Nigel, you're a great warrior. If you want to get it on again, I give everybody a second chance, third chance. I give them all the chances they want. The public want to see it, no problem. But I don't think you will. I think he's retired this time once and for all. I wish him the best of luck with his family, and thanks for a great time of viewing against Nigel Benn.
Now, you've beaten Chris Eubank twice. You've now beaten Nigel Benn twice. What's the fight you want now?
The fight I've been looking for a long time is Roy Jones, but Roy Jones is running scared. He fights nobodies. He fights people with prison records, not boxing records. If Jones doesn't give me the fight I want, people will remember him as the guy who's afraid to fight Steve Collins.
Well done tonight, Steve.
Screw Roy Jones. Let me and Reid get it on. The best in British boxing. Let's get it on.
Well, Robin Reid is there. We'll have a word with him about that in a moment. Now, here's Frank Warren. Frank, could that fight possibly happen, given all the various alliances in boxing that seem to get in the way of so many things? Could we see Steve Collins and Roy Jones?
Roy Jones is now fighting at light heavyweight. He's gone up to light heavyweight, so I doubt very much if you see it at super middleweight. If they want it, they can have the fight. That's not a problem. I'm very disappointed tonight the way the Kilburn behaved with Nigel. They should not have pulled him out. That was not good. But they've done it, and it's too late now to do anything about it. And I think that takes away from Steve. It takes away his victory from him. You know, he's a great fighter, always gives his money worth, value for money fighter, tremendous performer, and it's just a shame it's taken away from him. And it's a shame for Nigel to go out that way.
If he doesn't fight Roy Jones next, what fights could be out there for him?
There's a man there right for him. Manchester's Robin Reid. There's a great fight next year.
Well, let's hope you can get it on. Would you like that one, Steve? You would, wouldn't you?
Let's get the champions together. Let's unify the titles. Let's forget this mucking about.
OK, well done tonight. Still the champ, Steve Collins.
And hopefully very shortly we'll get a chance to talk to Robin Reid, but the debate has gone on here since Steve Collins started it. He said he felt cheated. Frank Warren says he's disappointed. We'll be able to pick up and have a chat with the boys in a moment. Duke McKenzie, Nicky Piper and Barry McGuigan. But, I mean, before we go back to Manchester, what do we make of that then, Nicky? I mean, that's all very well, isn't it, the two of them saying they were cheated. You're disappointed at the end,
yes,
or the fashion of the end of the fight, but the three of you were sitting here watching that saying he's got nothing left. He's all but finished here, Nigel Benn.
That's right. Well,
it was no surprise, was it?
It was no surprise, but what annoyed me a little was before the fight started, they were telling us that this was the Nigel Benn of old. He was better than ever, and he was going to win this fight.
But, Nicky, did you believe that?
No, I didn't. I thought Collins would win it. That's not the point I'm saying. The point I'm saying is you could see from the way they pulled him out that they knew they were conning everybody. They knew before that fight started that they didn't.
So in
have
fact
a
they
chance.
pulled him out at the right time.
Yes, maybe they did. Maybe so, yes. I thought Collins was going to win.
But did you want to see him, are you telling me you wanted to see him prostrate? You wanted to see him
like the
flattened?
rest of us, you wanted to see a longer fight and a knockout at the end of it to find out
That's what the
what
crowd
didn't you?
wanted. The crowd were baying for blood. Everybody wanted blood, and these two warriors got in there, and they was supposedly going to fight to the end.
And had there been real damage?
I think that the problem with Frank was peed off with him because he didn't turn up at the last press conference, and he was a bit annoyed with him anyway. So he was annoyed with the corner and the apathy between himself and Ben anyway. However, you know, I didn't want to see the guy humiliated by being knocked out and stopped. So the corner actually prevented what was obviously going to happen.
How many have you got to take to prove
They may have, okay, the audience may have felt a bit shortchanged. However, you know, in my opinion, he stopped at the right time. He couldn't have gone much more than another round.
Give you a word in a moment, Duke. Let's go back to Manchester. Robin Reid is waiting to talk to us. He's with Ian Dark.
You heard the challenge there. Steve Collins wants to fight you. Feel ready for that?
No, I mean, that's up to Frank at the end of the day. If that fight comes off, then, you know, that fight comes off. That's down to Frank, my promoter and manager. I mean, I'd like to have a couple of defences first, you know, a couple of defences. Make myself more of a household name, get that bit, you know, of experience at world-class level. But I mean, that's, you know, if Frank tells me I'm fighting Steve next, then, you know, whatever. You know, I'll train as hard as I would for any other fight.
Did you find, looking at Steve Collins in there tonight, that it's a bit of an awesome proposition because he's got this kind of indestructible quality, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough character. I mean, as we've seen, you know, he's, you know, his style is awkward. You know, he throws some unorthodox shots. You know, and his style seems to work for him. But obviously, you know, if you're going to fight him, you've got to study him. You've got to study him on tape. You've got to study the things that he does wrong. You know, and punish him for what he does wrong.
Do you think you could beat him at this stage?
I mean, it's hard to say, you know what I mean? Like I say, I'd like to get a few more defence, make a few more defence, couple of defences, get a bit more experience at that level, and then maybe fight Steve.
So I think that fight may have to wait for a while. Henry Wharton, of course, is the fight that you've got mandatory, isn't it, coming up?
Yeah, that's another thing, you know, where Henry's the #1 contender, so I might have to fight Henry Wharton or Sugar Boy Milling. I'm not too sure who it is, but, you know, there's them fights down the line before I think about fighting Steve.
OK, Robin, thanks a lot. The plot thickens.
Not hard. Duke, just before we look back on that fight, Nigel Benn has said he will retire again. Does he mean it this time?
I think so. I think he really believes in his heart now that he hasn't got anything left. You know, you don't pick up the microphone and say, I've got nothing left, and then make a dramatic turnaround and come back again. I think the public now, from Nigel Benn's point of view, it's time to say to the public, you know, like he's just done. Enough's enough.
Okay.
But Collins was always the boss in that fight, and there was only going to be one winner from the
Absolutely, he was the boss, and he really took control of things very quickly, took control of the fight, and right from the very off, he was sitting down on his punches, and this left hook from him here, from the crouch position, he was coming up to the top and hitting Nigel with hooking, arcing punches and sweeping them up the way, and making sure that Nigel has a great upper body movement, so Collins started bringing his punches up all the time to make sure he could hit the target area so he would bob into those punches. Round 3, good shot again from Collins. Little short chopping right hand and left hook to finish up. And he was able to catch Ben, even though you can't hit Nigel with any more than one single punch. You can hit him with one shot, but he moves his head. But Collins was able to hit him with 2 and 3 shots here. And round 3, Ben came out here with a good shot himself, walked onto a left hook, and he was coming back himself and trying to land his own shots. Round 4 still here, we can see this right hand from Ben, but look, it never even took a blink out of Collins. He came right back, almost a split second later with a big left hook.
Did he know if he was going to win it, he had to win it early? Was that in his mind, Ben?
I don't think so, no. I think Nigel just then went in there to try and out-hustle him, try and nail him with a good clean shot, and it wasn't forthcoming. Collins was ready for everything, and he was able to counter with everything that Nigel had done and stay on top of him and chip away at him and ebb away at his resistance. And, you know, all of these punches were cutting through, and he's such an awkward guy to fight, Collins.
And assess the performance. Was it a good performance from Collins, or was this not the Ben that we grew to know and love?
I mean, in fairness to Ben, has depreciated over the years. He's a little bit sharp-born. We did talk about that beforehand. And Collins done what he had to do. He's very effective. He does what is necessary at all times. And he's not the most attractive-looking fighter in the world, but he's very effective. And here we have Ben in the 6th round. He landed a tremendous right hand here, or left hook. And look at that, hit him right on the button with that. Collins just takes a little juke down, grabs a hold of him and recovers almost instantaneously.
And we'd heard that, what, prior to two rounds prior to that they would pull him if he was starting to take a beating.
Well, that looked a little bit spurious. I wondered about that.
I think they were just taking him on a little bit to see if they could get the old Nigel Benn fired up to come out and give Steve Collins exactly what he was giving to Nigel Benn, but it just wasn't to be. He tried, but...
I think you were right there, Richard, that the plan was to try and take him out early. And that's why I feel a little short-changed, is the fact that the corner went into this fight thinking if it's not over in 3 or 4 rounds, they're going to pull him out. And maybe I'm doing them an injustice, and I hope I am, to be honest with you, because I'd like to think I'm wrong, because nobody respects Nigel Benn more than me. But I just felt that they pulled him out a little bit early.
We wish him well in retirement. Back to Manchester now.